Welcome to the part 3 of my video series on upgrading from Drupal 9 to 10. Upgrading a moderately complex Drupal website from 9 to 10. And you can see the irony of it that even a moderately complex site, it took 3 videos to fully upgrade it. And not to mention the 2 videos that I did as a sidetrack for upgrading a PHP package. Technically, it was also a part of the upgrade process. That was something that I could have done anyway, regardless of the update. But I had to do that because of the update. So uh, maybe you can count those 2 videos within it, which means that we have already spent about 40 plus 40 plus 35 plus 20. What's that? It's 135 minutes already. So maybe a little bit more than 2 hours. We've already spent that, roughly 2.5 hours so far. And we are not done yet. We're still on Drupal 9, but we have already laid out a lot of groundwork. We have updated whatever packages we could. We have brought up all the modules to Drupal 10 as much as we could. There were a couple of modules that had kind of like a clashing dependency. So we have expanded the constraint, and we will, of course, eventually we'll remove those constraints as well. As in, we'll tighten those constraints so that the updated version of module gets installed with Drupal core 10. And we have changed whatever, we have updated our custom modules. So we have done a lot of groundwork, and now it's time to actually run the composer commands to update the site from Drupal 9 to 10. So it's been a while, although it took maybe like I said, 2.5 hours. But of course, this effort was spread over days, mainly because I'm recording this as a video. Or otherwise, normally also you would take a break. So I see this effort kind of spread out over maybe like a day, couple of days, right? So it's not bad. Again, for a moderately complex website, if that's the main, if that's your main job, then okay, not bad. If you think about it. But if you are maintaining a website on part time, and most sites do get moderately complex. In fact, if the site is not moderately complex, you probably don't need Drupal to run it, right? So it's kind of like a thing that any site that you build with Drupal, there is a very good chance it will become moderately complex. At least it could get even more complex, which means that while working part time on it, it's very difficult to stay up to date. It's kind of like a reflection. It's kind of a learning, right? But having said all of those things, let's get started with our actual update, and we'll look at our code base. Not much has changed, since the last video where we prepared all the modules. So let's look at our, just a few sanity checks. Okay, Git is clean. Make sure we pull in everything. It's all up to date. Everything's looking good so far. And we are now going to run this to just see, composer updated. We'll run composer update out. Sorry, not updated, outdated, to see what has changed. I'm sure new versions of modules have come out in this time. So we'll walk through these. Admin toolbar, there is a new release. Okay, it's a patch release. We'll get to that. Drupal core, of course, there are major releases. Geocoder, there is a major release, but like we have seen this before, we can't update that until we upgrade Drupal core. Jin, there is a patch release. RC release, really. Raven, there is a patch release. Social auth and social auth Google, we don't need to do that right now. And Rush, finally. PHP unit, it's fine. I don't think so. Social auth and Rush and PHP unit won't block our upgrades. In fact, to keep things simple, we are just going to, one of the things we'll do to keep things simple is just remove Rush for now. We'll start by removing Rush. We'll ignore the other modules. There are no unexpected surprises over here, at least, right? I mean, there was nothing like a major module released or major version of a module released or anything like that. It's been a month, right? Almost a month since I last did this video. Yeah, so I think we should get started. So we have all our modules listed, and we should now start working our composer command to update the. Okay, I think it's already kind of taking it from my history. So what we are doing is we are requiring core 10.1, scaffold also 10.1. We have to do that together. And geocoder, we're just kind of like making sure it gets updated, because sometimes composer is a little finicky about these things. But even before we run this, I'm going to remove Rush just for sanity, because a lot of things go wrong here. Okay, so we have removed Rush, and now we are going to run our composer require command again. Right, so let's give it a shot and let's see what happens. I will be very surprised if it works. Yeah, like I said, I'll be very, very surprised if it works. Okay, so we have a lot of different dependency. It's listing a lot of different dependencies, and that's really confusing, right? So what I'm going to do. I will. I'll try the nuke option first, as in I'll delete the log file. It's versioned in Git, so I'm not worried. It's versioned in Git. I can always get it back. So I'm going to nuke the composer.lock file and try running a fresh composer install. And I find that sometimes that gives me a much better idea of what the errors in dependencies. Uh, if it works, again, I don't think so that will work out of the box. It'll just give me a better error message, because these are really non-problems. 18 problems, and it's not really talking about a root problem. It's a little tricky, right? So it's not really talking about the root problem. How do I get to that? So I'll have to this shortcut of deleting the log file. Sometimes it helps. It'll at least tell me what package is blocking the update, and once I fix that, I can move ahead then. So yeah, let's get back to our screen and remove the composer log file. So yeah, I'll run the composer require command again. It'll update the composer.json, and it'll start running composer install on a blank thing. So now, like I said, I didn't really expect it to work, but the hope is that it will actually give a much better error message. Okay, core recommended. Why core recommended? What did we say? Okay, we are trying to upgrade core. See, sometimes it's that simple. I mean, if it had told me this earlier, so sometimes it's helpful to delete the log file just to see what happens. But then what I'm going to do is try to run it against the actual log file, after I figure out what are the dependency issues. So let's update this. So it's updated all the relevant lines. Okay, so now we have one error. Let's fix that. So it says don't install Guzzle HTTP PSR 7 2.51. Okay, so core recommended requires PSR 7 2.5.0. Yes, sure. Drupal API client satisfied by Hussein Web. Okay, sure. Right, so this is the Hussein Web / Drupal API client. This dependency, we expanded this version constraint in our last video. The video on modernizing PHP dependencies. So we have solved this problem already. But like I said, Composer, it's really tricky for it to. I mean, we have to tell it actually exactly what we want to do. So this is like kind of a debugging mechanism. Ideally, it should have calculated it itself, but like all software, it's little difficult to expect that it works outright, right? So I'm going to help it along. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explicitly say, first of all, give me the latest version of Drupal API client. So it just makes sure it kind of simplifies the dependency tree. So I'll make sure that 2.1, it picks 2.1, because over there we have expanded the version constraint. Okay, so that's one thing. And the next thing we'll do is Guzzle HTTP / PSR 7. We'll explicitly tell it that, go with 2.6. We don't want you to even try 1.6, because, over here, my package, Drupal API client package, it actually can work with both 1.6 or 2.6 and onwards. But we want to tell it that don't even bother with 1.6. Take 2.5 at least, because Drupal core is saying that let's actually make it 2.6, right? Drupal core requires 2.5. So I'm hoping that this conclusion that it reached to not to install 2.5.1 because of the conflict analysis result, It won't, because now we're explicitly telling it go with 2.6. There is no dependency that's kind of like blocking it. Because we are also going with 2.1, we are not going with 2.0 at all. So we have kind of like simplified the composer's job over here a little bit, right? So I know it's tricky. It takes a little bit getting used to. It takes a little bit of practice, and like few tricks like this. What I told you: delete the composer.lock file and try, give it a shot, and stuff like that. So let's see what happens now. This time I'm hoping it works, because the error is much simpler. It's easier to solve the problem. But okay. This is bad. So the problem is Drupal/core recommended it's requiring PSR7 tilde 2.5.0. Right? So that means it can only pick 2.5.0, 2.5.1, 2.5.x.dev, and so on. Let me just show it in a browser so that you can see the semantic version debugger or whatever. I don't know what's it called. Debugger for Composer. Actually, I think it's on the PHP Composer website. If I go there and search for semantic versioning, it's semver. It's not in my history, so let's see this semver. There's this link, testing version constraints, and there is this semver.madewithlove.com. All right, so I'll use the package name, right, and the constraint 2.5.0, right. So it can only pick 2.5.0, 2.5.1. Unfortunately, the release that I made, it's 2.6 onwards. I didn't need it, but I just targeted the latest version. That's actually a mistake I made in my last video. But now there is this conflict. Drupal core recommended is requiring 2.5.0 or 2.5.1, and I am requiring 2.6. So there is a conflict here, right? So what I think is this constraint is by Drupal/core recommend. Okay, so my one option, one thing I can do is I can go back to my package, loosen it out a little bit. Maybe I should do that because many people will be using core recommended, right? But yeah, what I would need to do is loosen out that version constraint, make it kind of like 2.0 maybe, like, or 2.4, kind of little relaxed, because I saw one of the Drupal core versions requiring 2.4 in the dependency tree that we saw earlier. So we saw that 10.1 alpha requires 2.4. So maybe 10.0 requires 2.4, which would mean that my module is not installable on 10.0. And I mean, there's no reason it shouldn't be, right? So I should really relax the constraints over there, right? But that's going to take time. And maybe I'll need to do that eventually, but it's going to take time right there. So I have another option. What I can do is I can go for the regular Drupal core package, not the core recommended. So there are two packages again. So let's see them. There are two packages. We'll look at both of them. One is Drupal/core. Right. So we'll open this in two different tabs. So Drupal/core is kind of like the main package that brings in all the Drupal dependencies and the Drupal code itself. Of course, it brings all of that. So you'll see that all the requirements are listed over here, and they're quite lenient. So Guzzle HTTP PSR7, it actually says that, okay, anything over 2.4.5. So if we say, let's go back to our version checker. So you see, if I actually had 2.4.5, caret 2.4.5, it supports 2.6.0 and 2.6.1, which is what my module is listed to work with right now. Right? Again, that's a mistake. But, for whatever reason, it's now made to work with 2.6. So if Drupal core relaxed that version constraint from, if you remember, it was 2.5.0 and tilde, not caret. So if it was caret 2.5.0, we would have been fine, because that would be like 2.5.0 and all versions after that until 3.0, not including 3.0, until 3.0. But what it has done is it's saying tilde 2.5.0. So this means 2.5.0 and all versions until 2.6 and not 2.6, not including 2.6. So that's our problem. But the problem is not in Drupal/core because we see that the dependency is 2.4.5. We see that over here. The dependency is only 2.4.5 and anything. Again, it's actually in our favor. But because we are looking at core recommended, the core recommended package kind of tightens down the dependencies further. Why? Because that's the range it tests with. So Drupal CI, there is a whole testing suite that goes on. Like a lot of tests being run. It's quite intensive, right? So it tests with a certain range of versions, and as a library, it's supposed to work with, or it's supposed to specify all the versions that it can work with theoretically. Which is why I said, I made a mistake with my Drupal API client because really I should list it with all the versions that it can work with. I didn't have to do 2.6. If you have seen the video, you would know that it could have worked with 2.0 even. So I didn't really need to lock it down so tightly. So it was a mistake. So libraries tend to make it tend to be permissive in version constraints because, of course, the libraries need to work with a wide variety of applications. Core recommended, on the other hand, it points towards the application itself. So it's tightening the versioning dependencies, and that's why we are facing a problem. So what I can do over here is remove core recommended and install core regular core. Unfortunately, to do this, there is no one command which will remove one dependency and add another one. It's not there. So actually, I can do it in 2 steps. So what I'll do is I'll remove composer. No, I'll first require Drupal/core, the current version. It's 9.5. What's the current version? 9.1. So I'll stick to 9.1. Okay. So I'll first say require. This would be like a no change operation because Drupal core, it's already included over here, because core recommended depends on core. I think it's, oh yeah, because log file is missing, right? So actually, let me get back my log file. A lot of changes over here. So it'll be useful to kind of get back to ground zero over here. So I'm going to restore my composer changes completely and install it so that everything is fine. I'm going to remove Drush again. So let's remove Drush remove. Sorry, composer remove Drush/Drush. So yeah, we're doing that. Drush is gone. So now let's try our updates again. So now we are going to require Drupal/core 9.1. Again, like I said, this should not really result in a change. As expected, nothing to install, update, or remove. And now we can remove Drupal/core recommended. So we are like kind of moving ahead right now. Okay, so the change we have made is using Drupal/core and shifted to Drupal. We have shifted from core recommended to core, which I've already said will relax the version constraints. It didn't update anything else because I did not pass the flag. Composer just updated this thing. It would have actually resulted in a lot of updates if I'd passed in that update with dependencies flag. But yeah, let's continue with our task right now. So I'm going to say composer require Drupal/core. My history will actually, there are like a lot of tools here. So I can actually, you can see that there are so many update versions of the command over here. I'll use this one because it contains my command for Drupal API client and Guzzle HTTP and all of that. So I'll pick this command. And like I said, I need to not use recommended anymore. I've switched to Drupal/core. So this is our command from earlier. Now we're trying it with the log file, with our log file. So we have kind of actually like gone back the step. So fails again, like the same thing, which means, okay, I'm going to remove my composer lock again. And our changes are already in over here. So let's see what happens right now. I've already said, composer kind of it's really tricky to get it work properly. Okay, so I think we have hit a new set of problems that Guzzle requires PSR 7.1, but we found. Okay, so why is Guzzle 7 included? Let's see this one. So it says Guzzle http/Guzzle depends on the PSR 7 version 1. But why is it even there? Because if Drupal core requires it, then it should have updated that dependency also, right? So let's see why this is included. So it's required by Drupal/core 9.5, but it can actually go to 7.4 also. So why not update that also? Again, this could be just that Composer can't deduce that, okay, no, it can actually go to 7. So let's help it along. Similarly, we'll say, no, I want you to go to 7. So let's do that. Again, an error. So we have a problem now with Guzzle 6 adapter. It's like kind of like going down the rabbit hole. PHP 7 version 1. But again, we want to see why is it requiring such an old version of what is it? Guzzle 6 adapter. And why is Guzzle 6 adapter even there? Shouldn't it be Guzzle? Okay, all right. So DO username, the module uses it, and geocoder also uses it. Wait. Okay. So both of them are requiring 2.0 version. So what versions exist for Guzzle 6 adapter? Let's see. 2.0.2. And that should work with 8. So what's the problem? It says Guzzle 6 adapter. Okay, these two versions don't work with PHP 7. All right. Requires 6 version 6 of Guzzle http/Guzzle. All right. Yeah, it says that. Found Guzzle http/Guzzle, but it conflicts with the root dependency, which is 7.0. Okay. Fair enough. Because it's like the name says, it's Guzzle 6 adapter. So what can you do, right? Which means that the problem is coming down to our DO username and other module, which is geocoder. But I'm thinking that Drupal/geocoder, the version 4 will actually not depend on the version 6 of Guzzle, right? So let's see. Okay. Yeah, geocoder will directly go to source code and take a look. So we are on 3.x. We want to go to 4.x and see. And the info file. Oh, there's a composer file also. Okay, let's see that. Composer file requires on Guzzle 7 adapter. Right. So I am thinking that what I'll need to do is probably make a new release in my DO username, which will depend on Guzzle 7 adapter. It's not ideal, but I think that's the way forward. So let's do that. Let's get started with that. I'll also open the code base for DO username. It's a handy shortcut, Z. Yep. And I'll open the editor. All right, let's make sure I'm okay. I'm on the latest version, and it says it's actually not working with 10.0. Right. So what do we do? We need to probably make a new release altogether. Can I do it in a minor release? I'm wondering, as in like 1.0 proper, and make it work with just 9.9 and 10. That's it. That could be a way. I just want to make sure, there is a reason I'm using Guzzle 6 adapter, because I think Guzzle is so common that why did I need to depend on that? Okay, I need to depend on Guzzle because I need to pass that Guzzle instance to the library, the backing library. If I was, if I could just pass Drupal's client, that might have been easier, I suppose. So the client is being constructed here, which is do username services. We're passing the HTTP client, which is um, HTTP client. Yeah, let's see this. It's defined in code.services.yml, of course, from HTTP client factory from options. Okay, what I want to do over here is to actually, I mean, ideally, I would want to figure out a way to kind of use Drupal's client itself, uh, you know, directly. So, over here it's Guzzle HTTP / client, right? HTTP adapter. So it's passing in the client. Oops, not what I meant. Yeah, so it's passing in the client and the cache instance. Okay. Wait, it's not the right service. I'm looking at something else. Yeah, this one. So it's passing in do client, which is here. And that is taking HTTP adapter as the parameter. All right. Which needs a. So let's open that also. We're going down a rabbit hole. It's kind of like the purpose of the point of this video is now different. It's updating do username. Hey, wait, this is not on. That's on. It's already open, in fact. I was looking for it in GitHub, but it's on Drupal GitLab instance. Sorry, I was actually looking for the Drupal API client package. Getting all lost in multiple things. Okay, so we have Drupal API client, and we are looking at the source. The client, it requires a client interface, which is a PSR compatible client interface. So if the Drupal's client interface matches this, then we would be good actually. But let's see if a quick search actually points us to this. Because it would be a big simplification. We'll not need to depend on Guzzle Guzzle implementation at all. So Drupal HTTP client PSR compatible. No PSR rating clients found error. Okay. I think the error is related, but again, it's not giving me the answer that I want right now, straight away. This is an old issue. We can see from Drupal's dependency tree that it depends on Guzzle HTTP / PSR7, that we depend on that as well. But where is the Guzzle 7 adapter? It's not depending on that. This is requiring Guzzle 7 adapter. We see that. Geocoder. This is version 3, that's why it's Guzzle 6 adapter, but switch to 8.x 4.x, and it's requiring Guzzle 7 adapter, which is something that we could do, I suppose. It'll be simple. I mean, I'll not have to do a lot of changes. I can just do that. So let's create a new issue while I think about this. It's okay. Let's fix it. Yeah, we're going to change the requirement to making it installable only on 10. right? That's one thing. This will change, of course. So first of all, I want to see the adapter, and then I change this. Composer.json will now depend on Guzzle 7 adapter 1.0. And for a good measure, I'll make this 2.1 also. Because that's one of the other changes that we did. So what else do we need to change here? Do we need to change? I'm sure I need to change the service file, right? So let's look at the code for Guzzle 7 adapter and find out the class name. We're looking for HTTP adapter Guzzle 6 client, right? So it's HTTP adapter Guzzle 7 client. Okay, so yeah, I just need to change one character over here. What else do I need to change? Maybe nothing else. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a new branch 2.x because it's like a new release, right? And um, just commit it directly. Adding the files and yeah, model is not installable on Drupal 10. Okay. I don't know what's gone wrong with my Mac installation. So yep. And what should I say? Beta 1. I'll just stick to beta 1 for now. Okay, 2.0 beta 1. Make it installable on Drupal 10. And I'm going to push the tag as well. So I'll go to my releases and create the, where is it? It's somewhere in edit. Releases. Add new release. And 2.x, first I'll add that. It didn't create a tag. Okay, maybe I created the wrong name. Okay, make it support Drupal 10 dependencies. Okay. Release tag 1.x. And okay, the tag should have been like 2.0.0 beta 1, I think. Maybe that's why it didn't come up. Let's see if it comes up now. Maybe it didn't come up because of how do I go back to release? Yeah, add new release. Okay. I think it's 8 p.m. I don't know. Okay, it's not listed. Let's, I guess it's the wrong time to do the video. Okay. Let's see if this works now. Yep, 2.0. All right, so we have added our dependencies, changed it. It's still not listed over here. And I'm guessing it will probably not be done in time for this video because of what is the time right now in UTC? Oh, 45 minutes left. I'm hoping the release shows up. Okay, it showed up. So what I need to do right now is add even this as a dependency, Drupal /do underscore username. So we are back to updating our Drupal site right now. So one of the things we need to do is allow it to install do username 2.x version, right, where the dependencies are kind of now loosened up. I mean, it's mainly works with Guzzle 7 adapter, right? So geocoder is also listed to work with Guzzle 7 adapter. We would also do that. So Guzzle 6 adapter dependencies will be removed because both of these modules now no longer in the new release will not require Guzzle 6 adapter. Right. I have a feeling that I'm forgetting something. So let's see what happens. Okay. Requires Drupal do username 1.0 found. Oh, CT Drupal. Okay, so do username is in my uh, other repo. Sorry, other composer.json file. So let's open that CT Drupal / composer.json, and I'll just say I'll make it beta over here, and this will kind of force it to. I mean, I don't need to include do username 2.0 again over here because it's already there. Okay, what do you know? It works now. Long journey, right? 41 minutes. But we also released a new module release over here, making it installable in Drupal 10. So it's not nothing. But I think I started off from a deleted composer.lock file. And honestly, I'm fine right now. But I'm curious, I just want to make sure that the changes are minimum in composer.lock. Actually, it can't be minimum. There are so many changes over here. I think it's a waste of my time right now to get it to get back the composer.lock and try again with that, because again the video is rather long. Normally what I would have done is I would have reverted composer.lock and tried my steps again. So actually let me quickly do it, because I know very quickly what steps to repeat over here. Right, so I'm going to revert my whole composer install state. Everything is back to the old version. Except the composer JSON in my CT Drupal directory. That's, I think that's still. Oh no, that got. Oh yeah, of course I edited it, right? So one of the things I'll need to do is edit this manually. 2.0, and now try my composer require command, which contains everything. Core. So let's look at all the things over here. I'll zoom in really big for now. Drupal core 10.1, core composer scaffold 10.1, geocoder 4. Now I think all of this is kind of superfluous. Hussein Web Drupal API client and all, because do username I've specified. So that's enough of a push for composer, but I'm still going to keep it for now. Just want the update to work. Right. So I'm going to run this and see. No, it didn't work. Oh, Drush. Yeah. It's getting it to work with Drush installed. It's kind of like a needless headache. Yep. That's actually a broken installation, 1.0. If I make it 2.0 right now, Composer also will stop working. Other Composer commands. So let me remove Drush. Revert my change here. Do my and get back to my Composer require. Really, I think it's not worth the effort. It's going back into some kind of weird problem with like so many modules and all of that. It's a Composer. Composer. I'll call it a bug, and just repeat my steps. Without the composer.lock file. So it's it was oh, something else failed. Am I requiring recommended? No. Oh, I didn't remove. Oh man. Okay, yeah. I think I know what's going wrong. I'll revert lock again. Multiple steps over here. So okay, let's count our steps. Remove Drush 1. Second thing I'm doing is add Drupal core 9.5. So no, sorry, 9.1, but it'll actually install 9.5. So I've removed Drush. I'm doing the second step, add 9.1. Yeah, I can't make this change here yet. Okay, because it, like I said, it'll break everything else. So this change in the CT Drupal, I think path repositories are not worth it. It seemed cool when I started with it, but it's like so many headaches to kind of do things this way. Anyway, okay, so we are now on track. We have first step again, like starting from scratch. First step, remove Rush, add add Drupal core, not core recommended. And now I'm going to remove Drupal/core recommended, because we have already discussed this before. So third step done. Actually, it could have been condensed, but anyway. And now I'm going to try. So like, let me see my status. Few differences in JSON and lock. Yeah, I've removed basically core recommended from both. Yeah, why is Drupal/core not here? Oh no, it's there. It's there. I just couldn't see it. Okay, so Drupal/core is also here. Wow. Yeah, so where are we? We have removed Rush, we have added Drupal core instead of Drupal core recommended in those 3 steps. And now we are, now I need to change this to 2.0 manually. And finally, the whole require command, which is the long one, including all the modules, the one we built over the course of the video. Something else is wrong now. So like I said, it's sometimes not worth, trying to maintain that clean lock file. So I'm going to delete the log file and now start again, require again, and see what happens right now. Yeah, it works. So just that composer lock, removing it worked, so we came through multiple steps, but ultimately we had to remove log file, which I didn't really like, but okay. All right, so a bunch of files changed. We'll add them one by one, but I want to first clean up composer lock and everything. So I'm going to now remove the extra things that we added to composer, like this Guzzle and all of it. We don't need to add it over here, right? So we'll remove what is removed over here. Drush. Oh, we need to add back Drush. This time we can add Drush 12, and we need to remove Guzzle, all the things that we basically added. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to like kind of stage all of this, so that I can get back to this state. So first of all, let me add everything in web, one thing at a time. Okay, so .ht router, yeah, I don't need to worry about this file. htaccess, okay, there might be something I need to worry about. Let's see. But all of these changes I want it in anyway, so it's okay. Now cd Drupal composer JSON, I want it, of course, so I'm going to stage it. Yeah, default.services.yml, I'll stage everything. Actually, the main thing I was worried about was htaccess file. I can add the rest of the web directory directly. I also need to update my settings.php file, from the default one, but I can get to that. And similarly, I'm going to add my composer files, stage it just because, I don't want to mess something up, right? And now I'm going to remove these 3 dependencies that I don't need anymore. So Guzzle http/Guzzle, and then PSR7, and Drupal API client. Okay, I'll remove that. It should not result in any change because the packages are anyway installed. I'm just removing from my root composer JSON. That's it. That's the only thing I'm doing over here. What else do I need to tweak? No, it failed. Why? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's saying it's an error, but it's not actually an error. Of course, it's I'm just removing it from the root file. So far it's worked. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of compare my entire composer JSON file to make sure that it's not too much of a problem. core recommended. I'll stick with core. I don't need to go to core recommended. Geocoder is done, changed. And okay, now finally let's add Drush back in the picture. And I'm, like I said, I'm going to go to Drush 12.0. What happened? Composer require Drush. All right, so Drush is back. Okay, stage all of it. Now I'm going to make sure my services.yml is updated from, like, default.services.yml. I'm just going to kind of copy paste it, and then whatever is actually meant to be different, I'll revert those things. So I'll course is enabled, so I'll revert those changes, and it's a little painful. Then cookie same site. Okay, all of these things are, I think, yeah, I didn't make those changes. So the only thing I need to worry about was I've added that. Let's do the same thing with settings.php. And I have to be really, really careful over here because, a lot of changes were there. So let's revert this. Any other changes? Let me just keep it in place. Yeah, this is back. It's including platform asset settings and DDEV settings and stuff like that. That's it. What else is changed? Yeah, these are, I think, legitimate changes. So let's see. This time I'll just check it over here. Services.yml. Yeah, makes sense. These two changes make sense. Similarly, settings.php. Let me get my webcam out of the way. Yeah, so we have, yeah, we need this actually. We need this file. So I'll revert this because this actually breaks platform assets for some reason, because setting it to empty will kind of not let platform do its thing. I'll not go down that rabbit hole right now. Okay, what are the changes? Yeah, all the other changes are in comments. So we are good. Oh no, wait, this is not inside comment. Let's just revert it. Okay, so trusted host patterns for these things. Okay. Yeah, we probably don't need all of this anymore because I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'll come back to it. So I'll just see it over here because this is more comfortable. Okay. All right. So code related changes are done, right? But there is still a little bit left. There is, I have to update the database, update the configuration, and so on. So let's very quickly do that. That's not an optional step. So I'm going to run update DB. Okay, do copy fields. Okay. So it's again another problem with my module. But for now, I'm just going to change the file over here. It's definitely a new issue, but I'm just going to change the file over here. Actually, I don't even need this. No, I do need this. What's the error? It says logger channel factory interface. Okay, it's a drush command thing, because I've updated drush 12. That's the thing. You know what? Let me just stick to drush 11. I'll come to 12.0. That's not a required part of. Okay, I think -w. Yeah. So with all dependencies, yeah. I can do drush update later. It's not a core required part of Drupal 10 upgrade, because drush 11 works with Drupal 10. And another lesson over here, drush breaks existing things. So of course it's a major version, breaks are expected. Right, so let's run our update DB again. Oh, still a problem. Yeah, let me just fix it then. Must be logger interface. Is it talking about the type hint? Really? Where am I specifying the type? Okay, I'm kind of getting into the... I'm just going to disable this for now. Logger.factory. I'm just going to kind of comment this out for now and come back to it later. Stable. Oh, that is another problem that I expected. Base theme stable has not been installed. So for now, I think I can install Drupal slash stable. I believe stable was moved to contrib space. So at least for me to be able to install this site, I'll add stable, and then again, maybe it's like a later thing that where I would probably need to. Okay, that's weird because I definitely remember enabling ckeditor. Let's look at the site. Okay, remote code. You must add the following contributed module and reload this page. Okay. All right. I guess, I'll probably be able to remove it later. Wow, it's really turning to be a long exercise. Funny thing is, this didn't happen earlier with the previous upgrades. So I'm probably forgetting something over there. Okay, Drush update DB is done. And I'm going to export the configuration. So what? No changes? Okay, yeah, here. Slight delay. So a bunch of changes in config directory. Mostly it'll be kind of like, okay, this like just kind of the lines have moved around. PHP, what is that module? ckeditor 5 image resize. Okay, ckeditor 5. Why did that change? Okay, the lines have moved around, that's all. I guess this is also something similar. Lines have just moved around. Quotes changed. Settings added. This is a code change, and yeah, again, like formatting change, and mostly it's just those things. Okay, some dependencies have been added, but nothing seems like a very specific thing. Like, file is an inbuilt thing, right? So yeah, a lot of, I think it's mostly formatting changes and everything, but let's just go through the entire list. Yeah, okay. um I'm going to add config sync. Composer.json changes. Actually, I can go back to drush 12 now. because it was not really a composer related thing, the error that I was seeing. Okay, and I'm going to make sure everything is okay, like cache rebuild and everything. This is yeah, it's a long process, right? Tired at the end of it. Now there are a few things that I still need to do. I probably have to figure out, okay, what do I do about stable that I've added, and ckeditor, I need to kind of remove it. Those things are, I guess, it'll be kind of removed. So deprecated module found ckeditor 4, right? I'll need to figure out a way to remove it. But I think I'm okay for that to be outside the video, right? I uninstall this module. Come on. Uninstall button is all the way down. Okay, so what if I uninstall it? Oh, it's uninstalled. So why did it have to bother with that? Oops. Is it requiring something? Is valid service data. I think I'm just like complicating this unnecessarily. I'll keep it installed for now. Oh, I can't even do that anymore. Can I input the configuration? No. I think this is like broken. But it seems like the site itself is working. Let's see status report and logs. Type error. Brush runtime is that service data must be of type array. Null given. Who gave it null? Drush itself gave it null. So it's coming from. Oh, maybe it's like cex is not a valid command anymore. Nothing is valid command anymore. I'll just stick with 11.6 then for now. Okay, this works. So we have added, yeah, we have removed ckeditor, right? So I'll keep the module in the code base right now because, of course, this needs to run on the production servers also. But in the next release, I will remove the module again. So that's again out of the video. So this was like a long ride, but yeah, finally done update to Drupal 10. Okay, it's trying to find PHP in some other path. That's not an error I want to deal with right now. And yeah, I'm going to push it and let's see I do its thing. Meanwhile, we have updated our site to Drupal 10. We have not fixed everything. There are some problems here and there, right? Cron is not run. Okay, fine. Cron, I'll not run it over here. It's like a very expensive operation. I'll run it online on the production. In fact, over there it's running already. So yeah, otherwise we are on 10.1.5. We have finally completed our update. It was a long journey, and thank you for watching.